I'd like to tell you something from when I was younger and had a period of time where I found it a bit hard to figure things out. I had made good friends at school and had a lot of fun with them, most of the time. But it happened that several of the guys I hung out with had started looking at different things online. They were things which I really knew were not good for me. I got such a sting of guilt every time they sent around their phones, laughing and wanted me to join in. And afterwards, I always felt heavy inside me, and my thoughts swirled around a lot about what I had been looking at. I really felt I'd come to the point where I had to tell them that I didn't want to join in. But that was so embarrassing. That day, there'd be a lot of stuff like that. I sat on the corner of my dad's sofa, where his Bible always lay. I opened it up on a bit of a random page, and there was a verse that my dad had underlined that captured my interest. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroy, and thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart also be. Jesus said this to his disciples and many others who were listening. They'd probably never heard such things before. Jesus said,
"No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will be loyal to the one and despise the other."
Jesus was the kindest, most caring and good person the disciples had ever met. But he was also someone who could really tell the truth. And the truth was that people did a lot that was sinful and had impure hearts. They no longer served only God. They did evil things because they loved the things in this world. So Jesus wanted to teach his disciples and the other people who heard him that we cannot share our heart between God and the world. Either we serve God or the world swallows us up and sin comes into our lives. This made an impression on the disciples who listened. They wanted to live as Jesus said. They wanted a pure heart for God and to give up everything in this world. But most people in Israel at this time did not care about what Jesus said to them. They continued to sin and to do what they wanted. Perhaps they prayed to God occasionally, but they did not follow God's laws, and they did just as they were tempted to. And they had no plans to stop doing that either. Later in the story, it says that not long before Jesus' death, Jesus and his disciples traveled to Jerusalem to celebrate Easter. On his way into the city, Jesus paused and looked out over Jerusalem. Then he started crying. He would have liked to have helped the people there, but they didn't want to hear. Most people did not understand who Jesus was and would not believe the words he said to them. Jesus loved all people, so he wanted very much to help them. When they entered the city, they went to the temple. In the temple square, those who worked in the temple, the priests and Pharisees, allowed people to buy and sell things, exchange money and trade. You could earn a lot of money from this, and the whole square was full of people who were not there to pray to God, but to make money and do completely different things. When Jesus saw it, something happened that probably not most people would have guessed. Jesus tied some rope together to make a whip, and then he began to crack it down on the trading stalls, so that the tables toppled over and the money spilled everywhere. Bulls, pigeons, and sheep, and whatever they sold, he drove them all out. Jesus completely cleared out the whole place. He said to them,
"It is written, 'My house shall be a house of prayer,' but you have made it a den of thieves."
This event has never been forgotten. Seeing people bringing this wickedness right into the temple square of God's house, then Jesus thought, that's enough. By doing this, he showed once again that our hearts can't be divided between God and what tempts us in this world. If we want to serve God, then we must keep our hearts pure. I made a choice. I wanted to serve Jesus. I wanted to have my treasure in heaven and not on this earth. So I told them. I told them just as it was, and from that time I stayed true to what I knew inside was right for me. And I'm really happy about that.